Locked up, won't let me out. Hola, it's your boy Big Rob back in the house. Welcome to Sin City Crypto. If it's your first time checking us out, we're the entertainment focused cryptocurrency channel. We are the champions of entertainment here. We're from the entertainment capital, and well, we deliver. Other channels advertise edutainment or whatever weird catchphrase they want to use, but we bring the juice, we bring the heat. David's got the day off, so you got me and Forrest, our regular Friday co-host, and well, you're just part of the team now at this point. Are we paying you yet, Forrest? Did you get a check yet?
No, but that's okay.
No.
We're gonna check with accounting and see.
QuickBooks is bien.
We're gonna see what's going
I
on.
need to do my benefits. It's that time of year.
There you go. All right. So a lot of big news today. Today's show is packed. We have obviously Sam Bankman-Fried. Well, the jury has deliberated, and well, we got finally got a conclusion. So the court case came pretty quick. I'm pretty surprised about that. So I'm sure most of you know the verdict, but if you don't, stay tuned. Also, we have the jobs report coming in. So what's the U.S. economy looking like? And what's that mean for the Fed and also some other monetary policies that directly affect crypto and Bitcoin? Now, Render token as well is something that we'll be talking about. They're migrating over to another layer one. Also, we have some news on XRP, so XRP Army. If you were excited, check us out. Also, a little Elon Musk, and maybe we'll talk Cardano today too. Not sure if we'll get there. But before we get too ahead of ourselves, let's get a shout out to Cam's Blue Wire Tech. So they are the ones that run our network here. And if you're looking for networking, cybersecurity, top-notch IT support, visit bluewiretech.com. They'll help you out in more than one way. Just answer the phone, especially when things are broken. But I want to... How you doing, Forrest, by the way? What's going on in the Forrest camp?
I'm doing well. Just keeping on. Market's been good. We got that Solana pump. We got the Bitcoin to 35K. We got a couple of our altcoins popping off. So it's been a good time to be in the crypto market.
Yeah, definitely. It feels like the stain of the bear market is fading, right? I'm not hearing so much FUD and crypto's a scam, FTX blew up, and giggle. And I feel like we're starting to round the corner to new sentiment, right? And you see it in the fear and greed index. We've kind of been taking a look at it over the week, but fear and greed index 72 again today. So we're almost in the extreme greed. So big move. Bitcoin for just the year from when we started 2023 to where we're at now, we're past a 2x. So one of the strongest performing assets across all financial markets, not only just in crypto, but outperforming the Nasdaq, the S&P 500, gold, and so what a better place to be in crypto right now. You guys should be bullish. Speaking of you guys, I want to give a little love to the chat. And so if you're new here, say hello. We can drop an hola back at you. And right now we're sitting at 30 something likes. So when we get to 180 today, I think we can get there. Get to 180 likes, we'll open up the club and have a party. So without further ado, though, let's get right into it. And we got some funnies here. So in speaking of the bear market, so here's a little visual representation of what it's like to enter into the bear market. So things are about to blow up, and so but you forget to sell and you leave with your bag still, even though the bear market's coming. And so
What she has in his hand? What is that?
This is firecracker she's gonna throw in this bowl.
Okay.
She lights the firecracker, and throws the matches in the bowl. But
oh no, they cut the part where it explode the head.
Oh man.
so, I feel like we've all been there. The bear market's coming. You start the run, but you bought at the top and you still forgot to sell. So
It's like when you put the milk in the pantry after eating a bowl of cereal.
mm-hmm. Yeah, I do that all too often. Like sometimes I'll grab like the TV remote and I'll try to answer a phone call. I'm like, hello. So
Better reception.
now, also, here's I'll just let it speak for itself. So you have 2018. Hey son, I found a picture of Grandpa. And in 2060, hey son, I found a picture of Grandpa.
We've fallen far.
Are my funnies way better than David's?
I laugh at least.
There you go. And then, here we got, when you're copy trading, this is a good example of copy trading here. So you got the man in charge. He's following. And, you got a line of people following. So, nice. Everybody's winning. Everybody's in the green. And the influencer.
Oh, Jesus.
No my.
Wow.
Then lastly, we have here. What's your high net worth assets? Bitcoin starting to have more utility. You have Ethereum, tons of use cases. Store of value. Also, you can hold an NFT, which is has this little bling to it. But let's not forget about the use and utility of real world collectible assets. And so you have here a man is using his Rolex as also a hair tie. So why why not just keep your value in a Rolex? Also,
I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna do it too.
Do you
I'm gonna buy one of those watch, the one that you used to find in the back on the days you find the watch inside the box or the detergent, the one you put in the washer. Never had that one.
No.
When I was a kid, you find some present inside.
Oh, okay.
It was a plastic watch in there too.
Yeah, I feel like you're a kind of
another age.
you look like you're a Movado. Was that Movado? Is that
No,
is that the one that has the one diamond on the top?
not my style.
That's actually that's from.
I think so.
No, not my
I
style.
don't know. All right.
I'll pass.
So I do like a clean Movado, but the thing is, at this day and age, I feel like you gotta go Rolex. If you're gonna go high end, I gotta go Rolex. But you got a Rolex for us? Got a Rolex?
I don't own a Rolex.
You gonna buy one?
They make a lot of them every year. No, I'm probably not gonna buy one. No, I got a nice. I used to be into watches. I got a decent little watch, a little Seiko, like $200-300 watch. Nothing crazy. Gets the job done.
All right. Let's take a peek at Bitcoin. I'll send it over to you after. I'm gonna do Bitcoin and altcoins here, but let's take a look at where the markets are doing. So Bitcoin's kind of holding steady right at 34.4. We did go above 35K. So just trading sideways here on the week. You can see on the 1 month that since October 23rd, so going on almost 2 weeks now, we've been at the 34K range, consolidating. This big move up and nice long consolidation has been very healthy for the alts. At least more particularly in this consolidation than others, I feel like because the sentiment is where it is, a growing interest in altcoins. I think people are trying to get their position in altcoins before the big bull run up. And you can see Thorchain's up 12%, Trust Wallet. See, you're getting these big rallies. I mean, 34% on the week, 18% on the week, 20% on the week, 13% on the week on the top 5 tokens here. And so massive gains in the altcoin. But if you look at the downside, really it's not quite as significant on the on the tokens that are down. So 8%, 5, 4, 3, 2 on the top five here on the 24 hours. And even these tokens that are bleeding off for the day are all up, or at least back to where they started in the week. So you have PancakeSwap of 22%, Arweave of 32%, XDC of 5%. So we're seeing that even though we have consolidation on the week, not much movement in Bitcoin on the 7 days, the alts are, for the most part, rallying. At least the top projects are. So I think the sentiment is changing. As we mentioned, the Fear and Greed Index is where it is. And then just we'll get into some alts here a little later. XRP, Cardano, and also Render token Solana today. So if you're fans of those projects, stay tuned. I'm gonna send it over to you, Forrest, if you want to take a peek at the Bitcoin charts. Let us know what crypto's looking like.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll share my my screen here. And we're just looking at the hourly chart, looking at this consolidation range. And I'll even kind of draw the range lows in here. And to be quite honest, it looks like we may be taking a trip down to the range lows here soon, depending on what Bitcoin does here. So we have our, our what it was essentially an ascending triangle. And then we busted out of the top of it, and then we got stuffed right back down on this false breakout. So usually when that happens, and when then we start poking out of the bottom of the trend line of the ascending triangle, you're usually going to break down. It's usually a bad sign to have the failed breakout turn into a deviation on something like this. We also just came in and back tested moments ago, maybe in the last hour or two. We came up and we back tested this 34.8K resistance level, kind of putting in what could be, construed as a little head and shoulders there as well. So right now we're just kind of hanging on. It looked, somewhat bullish this morning as we were kind of, breaking back into this pattern and heading back upwards. But once we got stuffed at 34.8, a lot more cautious here. We could see continued consolidation sideways, right? Let alts run a little bit, let alts do their thing. But if we start breaking out back down below where we're at right now, 34.4, I would expect a retest of this support over here, which is around 33.333. Right, 33.3K. We break out of the bottom of that range. We have, what could turn into a full retest of our prior highs, our prior range highs. And this is really where you want to be paying attention if you're somebody who feel like you just got caught off guard by this entire move in crypto. If you just kind of got surprised here, and you're like, oh, I didn't get any good altcoins. I didn't get any, I didn't get enough Bitcoin. I didn't get whatever, right? That is where you want to be patient, right? If you're buying here and you're buying in this consolidation phase, and then we get the scenario where we get, we move back down to 31K, that's really, really painful. That's where you're taking a 10, 12, 14% hit on your Bitcoin position, and then probably another 25, 30% on altcoins, getting that, 25, 30% correction in altcoins. It's really, really painful. And that's nothing more than just a range back test, right? Of 31K. That could be a very normal and healthy pullback for Bitcoin, right? So we've seen this happen time and time again. I'll give a couple more examples, and I think last week we covered this briefly, but the idea here is quite simple. Whenever you move out of a range, and I'll just kind of draw this range. Whenever you move out of the range, and I'll put on our 21-week simple moving average, because we oftentimes back test that as well. We moved to the top of the range, we back tested the 21-week simple moving average. We moved out of this prior range, we back tested the 21-week simple moving average and the bottom of the range, right? And then we kind of ping ponged around in this range for a little bit, and now we've broken out, right? It wouldn't be too crazy for this 21-week simple moving average to start coming up. It's going to be starting to come up, and a back test of this range. Now, I'm not sitting here and saying that Bitcoin's going to get a nasty 10% correction, but I think everyone needs to be prepared for another 9 to 10% pullback in Bitcoin. And if you're not ready for that, you're probably overexposed, right? If a 9 to 10% correction in Bitcoin is going to, break your portfolio, put you in a really rough spot in terms of, FOMOing into altcoins over the last week or two, and you're going to see a 20, 30% drawdown in your portfolio. If that happens, you probably need to be, practicing a little bit better risk management. On top of that, on our 4-hour, we see the top came in around the time where we got 4-hour bearish divergence. Bearish divergence on the 4-hour chart. So the price action made a higher high, but RSI, our oscillating indicator, made a lower high, showing that buyers are somewhat leaving the market. Now, the good news is that the way that this is kind of accumulating upwards, despite the fact that we have this bearish, this bearish divergence on the RSI, when RSI is channeling against price like this, it usually means you're going to get a breakout really hard in one direction or the other. And that's because we're also simultaneously putting in bullish divergence on the bottom side. So we're putting in bullish divergence and bearish divergence at the same time, which can net out to a big move in either direction. So to the upside, if we start moving up here, I mean, we've got 38 to 42K, very well within reach. But otherwise, look for a back test. I know that's not extraordinarily helpful for me to sit here and say, hey, it could go up, it could go down. The truth of the matter is nobody knows. There's too many factors at play here for anybody to accurately know where it's going to move next. We could get the government, market selling a bunch of Bitcoin here and dumping it back down to our prior range highs. We could get some really bullish news. We could get a Bitcoin ETF and it just ramps up. It really depends on what kind of news hits the tape first to break us out of this kind of upwards consolidation. So keep that in mind and just be prepared for either scenario and just pay very close attention to this pattern here. Pay very close attention to this channel. We start breaking out in one direction or the other, act accordingly. Were there any other charts that we wanted to take a look at? Maybe S&P 500 versus unemployment or anything else?
Yeah, we'll get into that here in a moment. Cool. I wanted to. For those of you that are looking for some altcoin charts, we're gonna get that towards the middle of the show. Remember, keep a heads out. We got Solana. Also, we'll be discussing Render token and XRP as well. But really excited about the Solana. There's been tons of movement, and it's just so much buzz in Solana. We'll get there. We'll get there. Now, I want to get to the big pressing issue, the top story today. Without further ado, let's bring it up, Rocco. We got Sam Bankman-Fried found guilty on all 7 criminal counts against him. The former FTX CEO faces maximum sentence of 115 years in prison. For fraud in the collapse of FTX was worse than Enron, according to advisors and people connected to the case. You also have $10 billion in customer funds were the total of missing dollar amount. Man, dude, guilty, man. It just crazy to me, man. And here's the press release. This is from the Justice Department. And so let's hear what they got to say.
This case moved at lightning speed. That was not a coincidence. That was a choice. And it's also a message. It's a warning, this case, to every single fraudster out there who thinks that they're untouchable or that their crimes are too complex for us to catch, or that they're too powerful for us to prosecute, or that they could try to talk their way out of it when they get caught. Those folks should think again and cut it out. And if they don't, I promise we'll have enough handcuffs for all of them.
So in case you missed the openings.
This case moved at lightning speed.
It's, that I think the rest, them having all these threats, I think is warranted. We're not surprised, but I was surprised how quickly this court case moved. What's your first reaction, Forrest, when it comes to the verdict? We'll go in a little further discussion. I got a few other talking points as well on here, but where were you at when this moment happened? Were you when Sam Bankman-Fried got found guilty?
Yeah, I was just staring at charts like usual, but this is good. almost is actually less than a year since the collapse of FTX. It's been like, that the collapse of FTX was November of last year, and now we're in November of this year. So yeah, I mean, the speed of the trial was solid. I feel like it was a pretty slam dunk case. I feel like they did sacrifice, potentially, putting everybody behind bars to just make sure they got Sam Bankman-Fried, which I'm actually okay with. Um, I think you've got to put you've got to put the hammer down on the face of the FTX collapse and the FTX fraud, which is Sam Bankman-Fried. I'm sure there were many other people involved and many other people who committed crimes, and I'm sure maybe some will go to prison, serve some time with lighter sentences. But I'm actually okay with them if they're getting 115 years for Sam Bankman-Fried. So I don't think that's official yet. Like, the judge could show some leniency or maybe reduce that sentence.
Maximum.
But what's the difference between 80 and 115 at this point? I think this was a good outcome for as good of an outcome as we could have hoped for. I think there's a couple other people that may have been getting lighter sentences for testifying against Sam Bankman-Fried, but the last thing you want here is Sam Bankman-Fried going to jail for 3 years and getting out and walking free.
Yeah, the maximum sentence, I doubt they're gonna drop that on them. I don't know. Sentencing is in March of next year, so we got some time there. But I think that I don't know. I'm no legal expert, but I'm sure he'll be convicted or sentenced to 60 plus years, I'm assuming. I'm just curious if they're gonna do some like good behavior, get out at a certain time, parole. That's what I'm curious about. And if I think that's where his power and influence from his family and his political connections might sway the judge to have him able to be released before he's 100 years old. And more than likely, he's going to spend the rest of his life in prison. If he does get out on some kind of early good behavior, I wouldn't imagine he would be any less than 60 years old at that time. So I think that no matter what the situation is, even with good behavior, he's going to spend most of his life there in prison. So here's an interesting video I found pre FTX collapse. And so a few familiar faces in here. So I'll just play this.
I just want to let you know, jail's not that bad. It sucks, but it's not the worst thing ever. So don't fret if that. I hope it doesn't happen, but if it does happen, it's not that bad.
Good to know. Sam?
And Sam's
I already went in jail.
Sam?
I just want to let you know.
Yeah, it didn't.
Kind of interesting. We got what's this gentleman's name? Is it? I don't know why I'm drawing a blank.
Do Kwon?
Yeah, Do Kwon. Yeah, so Do Kwon in custody. Sam Bankman-Fried in custody, waiting sentencing, and so they're joking about going to jail. And well, go figure. Forecasting forward. So speaking of jail, here we can't have anything major happening without the reverse Kramer. So Sam Bankman-Fried doles out credit lines to save crypto institutions. Here's the new JP Morgan. This was in June of 2022. Jim Cramer, he signed his time in prison, right? If he would have been bearish, I think the FTX would never have collapsed, right? So new JP Morgan. I think this is widely talked about. Now, man's going to prison. So where will Sam Bankman-Fried be sent to prison? Or which prison will he be sent to? Options are bleak. So here's an opinion piece for someone that is connected in the prison system, different prisons. Anyways, we got 31-year-old now faces maximum security of 115 years in federal prison. And this is to be sentencing is on March 28th. Now, Christopher Zukis, a legal consultant who advises clients on navigating prison systems, thinks that Sam is most likely, based on the facts of this case, to be sent to a medium security prison in California. Now, if the crypto founder receives a sentence of 25 years or more, President suggests that he will likely receive a minimum security prison designation because entrepreneur is living under house arrest at his family's Palo Alto home. The odds that he'll be sent to a prison closer to his family on the West Coast. Now, West Coast medium prisons tend to be a lot harder, per this Zukis expert here. Now, there's a lot more gang involvement, a lot more prison politics than the East Coast and Mid-Atlantic medium prisons. So federal prisons are organized by security level from minimum, high, medium security prisons house mostly nonviolent offenders in dorm-style housings. Low security prisons have higher staffing, but less confinement. Now, violence is also low, and inmates also live in dorms. Things start looking different in medium security prisons when inmates with longer sentences or more severe records are kept in heavily guarded cells. And then he goes on to say that when you're in a medium security prison, there is a huge swings in what these prisons look like. So there's a little more cush mediums, and there's pretty violent mediums, as they say. Now, one California medium security prison, Victorville Medium, has such an extensive record of inmate violence that it is frequently referred to as Victimville, while FCI Victorville technically fits the criteria of the type of prison that Bankman-Fried would end up in. He thinks it would be less likely he'll end up there because it might gain publicity if he is hurt. Obviously, the man is not probably doesn't have very good self-defense, I would assume. Likes cucumbers. I'll leave it there. That place is just brutal. They're talking about Victimville. I don't think that Bankman-Fried wants to be, or I don't think that the BOP, which is the one of the branches of government, wants a very visible assault or death on their hands. And then that'll wrap up this one. Now, speaking of going to medium security prison, I have here a video. This is Kai Cenat, a famous YouTuber with quite a big subscriber base. Anyways, this is something we might see from Sam Bankman-Fried. Spider-Man! So, there you go. So the this could be SBF right here with all the crypto nerds on the other side. So, just I won't give you much backstory. That this guy,
I don't see Caroline there.
No Caroline now. So he did a week-long stay at a prison for a YouTube thing. And streamed the whole thing. But anyways, I thought that was funny. Also, you have Sam Bankman-Fried prison guard has just been announced. So good luck, Sam. Good luck. Keep the sheets on the bed. All right. So also, we got one more here. So we got we have our Sin City crypto link for today's show. There's a nice little thumbnail. And well, there's Jimmy says, y'all better watch out. SBF will be coming out of jail with a culinary degree after eating the salad he's about to toss. I'm vegetarian strong. Thanks, Jimmy. So, all right. So,
they have more?
No, that's it. All right. Do you have any other thoughts to expand on here? And then I'll kind of give you my sum up or thesis. Medium security prison. Will his vegetarian diet hold?
What's that?
You think he'll still be vegetarian or vegan in prison?
Yeah, well, I think they give that option. I don't know. I don't know about a lot about prison, but I'm sure he'll make it work. Yeah, I mean, I think they'll probably send him. They don't want to send him to a highly violent prison. That's just begging for bad publicity. High profile guy like him, gets stabbed or assaulted or murdered, and then can they use that to get him out of there, or get him transferred to somewhere? I don't know. I think they'll probably put him in some podunk prison that's probably pretty comfy, low violence. He'll probably be around a bunch of other nonviolent people. I don't know. Maybe in 10 years we'll see pictures of him and he's like all gang tatted up and he's like the head of the gang in there scamming everybody.
Tattoo?
Oh, you give me an idea already.
So he'll have like created some sort of economy in there, some sort of like monetary system, FTX 2.0 token where he like accumulates all the cigarettes.
Yeah.
I don't know.
If he leverage trades cigarettes in there and liquidates the wrong guy, it's it's gonna be interesting. Here's the thing. I agree. From sentencing or from the perspective of what he looks like from the outside, we'll leave it there. He looks to fit the role, nonviolent, to be in a low to medium security prison. However, let's not discount the fact that he didn't even get to serve his time out on bail. He had to go back into custody because he had violated different bond release requirements. He kept thumbing towards the judicial system. Wasn't supposed to be on VPN. He said "F you," did it anyways. Had been cocky in his discussions leading up to his arrest. Open and anyways, he seemed almost invincible and arrogant, and didn't follow the rules even when the house was collapsing around him and everything was on fire. And I think that I wouldn't be surprised if he keeps that up. He obviously hasn't taken it seriously up to this point. Maybe the prison sentence is, well, a hard pill to swallow. Maybe he, and I would assume that he understands what's ahead of him. But honestly, I wouldn't even be surprised if the man was so delusional that he still thinks he's going to get out of this somehow. I mean, because he was delusional and thought he was going to get out of it before, and everything was going against him. And if something like that happens and he's arrogant, doesn't follow the rules, and acts inappropriate, I wouldn't be surprised to see him move to a medium or high security prison. Honestly. I mean, how many high profile people get out on bond and then end up back in jail? Like, it's pretty rare. And so I wouldn't be surprised if dude ends up in a more secure prison because of his behavior and him not taking things seriously. Now, I do want to give a little shout out to, or a little love to the chat here. If you're new here, say hello so we can drop an hola back at you. I do have a few familiar faces of some new ones. We got Blue Sky, Jedi MM, also C Burt Visuals, Bread Pit, Benny Blue Eyes, Look at the Runes, Chi Taka, Jedi, Crypto Slab, Pabs B, Donato, Malcolm, I am Jay, and Andre Anyone. To all of you, hola! Welcome to Sin City Crypto. We got almost 150 viewers, about 50% like ratio. So 1 out of every 2 viewers here has not hit the like button. Is it you? If it is, change that. All right, now I want to move on to the jobs report here. And so without further ado, let's see what the DXY will do. Now you have the dollar falls on weak job data and, well, Bitcoin gains, but the dollar strength index DXY has fallen below 105 following a disappointing U.S. jobs data release earlier today. The U.S. economy added 150,000 jobs in October. This is down from what was expected at 180,000. Now, bond yields have also dropped by 169 basis points, just below 4.5% on 10-year treasuries. And all of this is fueling bets that the Fed is done and rate cuts might even start being cut. Now, that's an interesting narrative there. And then to expand on this, we have the job growth slowed more than expected, and the prior 2 months were revised as well to be down over to 100,000. So the revising previous months right now is down as well. And then here's a historical chart on unemployment. Unemployment rate has moved up to 3.9% in October. This is the highest since January of 2022. April's 3.4 reading was the lowest since 1969. So we were coming off of historical lows, and now we're at 3.9. I want to say that even though historically we haven't been under 4% much, the times have changed. And I feel like people are struggling with inflation and that, well, the one household income is not really sustainable. So now you have mothers and, even kids that haven't moved out, working jobs just to sustain the mortgage and to survive. And I think that these employment numbers are more, they don't read the same way they did back in the 80s and 90s. Times have changed, and also you have less high quality jobs, and so people are taking a second job and fulfilling a job vacancy. But this might just be them driving for Uber or taking a part time job at a restaurant, and I think that these numbers don't have significance when you look backwards for the 2000s, but it does mean a lot now that we went from 3.4 to 3.9. We also have uh, the college people are making student loan payments again. That started. I actually have student loans from when I went to culinary school. A little bit left, and that restarted last month. And so there's a lot of families and individuals that, well, now are on the hook for $200,000 more a month with credit card debt exploding. You know, what does this mean? And will be rate cuts here in the future from the Fed? I think that the likelihood of it is ever growing, especially if we have any more banking collapses of any sort. I don't think we're out of the woods with that one as well. I know, Forrest, you were mentioning the S&P 500, or if you do you have any insight here, whether it's on U.S. unemployment rate, or if it's in regards to the traditional markets or the bond market? Is there anything that stands out to you?
Yeah. I can share my screen here, and this is why one of the big metrics that's among others leading me to be so bearish in 2024 for the traditional stock market and traditional finance. We'll see if that leaks into crypto or not. I think there's an argument both ways for Bitcoin potentially trading like gold and doing well in a recessionary environment, but I also think there's an argument that it trades more like a tech stock. So that much is unclear. But what is clear is that down here we have the unemployment rate, and I think you nailed it. I think the actual numbers don't matter nearly as much because times have changed. It's the general trend, right? It's the directional trend. And when you start to see this number creep up, when you start to see unemployment go from being very, very stable to creeping upwards and rising, right? Now keep in mind, a rise in unemployment from 3% to 6%, that's not a 3% increase. That is a 100% increase. That's a 2x in unemployment. That means there's twice as many people that don't have jobs, right? So when you start to see this number creep up, you see the S&P 500 up here start to roll over. And if you're waiting, right, if you're waiting for 6-7% unemployment, most of the crash has already happened by then in the S&P 500. You're too late, right? You have to be on top of this as it starts to creep upwards and be ready for a recession before that actually happens. Then in the blue here, this is the Fed funds rate, right? So when you have unemployment going up and the Fed cutting, right, realizing they have to cut, rates coming down, right? And that's what we're expecting soon is rates to come back down, the Fed eventually having to pivot. right? You get a situation where you just get a large drawdown. There's a lot of mechanisms at play with the Fed funds rate, with and how it affects the bond markets. And how it does. A lot of people think, oh, the Fed funds rate's going to drop, and that'll have the opposite effect that tightening had, and the S&P 500 will just go and rip up. And I think that's dangerous thinking. I think there's a very big lag to the amount of damage that this hiking cycle causes in an economy, and that ultimately, largely, frequently leads to unemployment rising, which creates recession. So we're starting to see those unemployment numbers rise. We're up to 3.9%, so ticking up over last month. Now, that might not seem like a big rise. However, if I go to this, a lot of times the numbers later revised, and recently the revisions have been very much to the downside, meaning there's less jobs, right? So unemployment's probably higher than 3.9% once they adjust the numbers. So this is a chart that shows the much more accurate and less manipulated household survey shows employment collapsed by 348,000, the biggest drop since the COVID shutdown. So obviously the COVID shutdown was off the charts because they were literally shutting down everything. But since then, we've not had as big of a drop in jobs as we have in this past month. So it's not to be doom and gloom, but the data objectively shows that historically, when this number starts ticking up, you need to be real careful about how you're positioned in various markets.
Yeah, I think you brought up a couple of good points there. One being that if there is a Fed rate cut, is usually corresponding with some financial calamity, whether it's a black swan or just hey, markets are crashing, and that would adversely affect crypto and Bitcoin, or at least it has historically. So to simply assume, as you mentioned, that the markets will rally, the S&P will rally, that isn't true historically. And Yeah, and also with the jobs, one thing to think about, even though that the unemployment is under 5%, there is a slowing economy. There has been a ton of layoffs, and you have a lot of high quality jobs. You have the breadwinner of the family that may have had a $80,000 salary, lose that job and have to pick up two jobs or pick up another part time job and just making less money. And so I think that's kind of the direction of the economy. We're seeing that spending is going down, and this is all directly correlated to the velocity of money and how much is moving. And right now, everything is slowed because borrowing is extremely expensive. So people aren't buying new houses. They're or at least not at the rate that they were uh, up until 2020. And with that said, it's more to come, and I don't see us getting out of this within the next few months, barring some kind of financial collapse of some sort from one sector or perhaps a bank or something international. So, something to keep an eye out for. I do want to move on to some big news today. If you are a fan of Solana, oh well, big news in Solana camp. The Render network. So if you guys aren't familiar with Render, well, they have announced that they are live on Solana. Upgrade the SPL token at upgrade.render.com. And taking a look at, let's see, was it SPL, right? SPL.
It's RNDR.
RNDR. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so SPL it's like the Solana equivalent to an ERC20 token on
Gotcha.
Ethereum. Solana SPL is just a Solana protocol something or another Solana token.
Okay. Well, here you have this is number 50 in the coin market cap list. So, if you're interested in Render, it hasn't quite rallied it in the same way that some of the other alts have. So, maybe something to take a look at. But Are you familiar with the Render token, Forrest? Have you ever really?
Yeah, so it's a decentralized physical infrastructure network. So think similar to how Helium Network is a decentralized physical infrastructure network where you set up Helium miners and you provide essentially like Wi-Fi to your vicinity. Render is distributed compute. So if you have a spare GPU in your computer that you're not using, you can sell that GPU compute to a decentralized network, which purchases it with render tokens, if I'm not mistaken. And let's just say, the buyer in this case would be somebody who doesn't have GPUs, doesn't have enough GPU compute power, and they want to, render a big AI. They've got AI work, or they've got animation work that could take hours and hours and hours to render. They're doing some sort of tough computations, and they need additional GPU compute. They're willing to pay for that rather than having to go and buy a $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 computer to be able to do that. They can just kind of pay, job by job basis. So that's what Render is. That's a probably a bad explanation, but that's the general gist.
Sounds like they're in a sense adding validator nodes through the Render clients, more or less, from what I was getting. Here I have to expand on this move. So Render has successfully upgraded its core infrastructure from Ethereum to Solana. Token holders of Render can now migrate their tokens from Ethereum blockchain to the Solana blockchain. And then first users to upgrade will be awarded a share of 1.14 million Render based on a point system and cohorts ranging from 40 million to 220 million. Now, the switch to Solana is projected to expand Render's network capabilities into new areas such as machine learning, inference training, and then as well as unlock new useful through Solana's technologies like compressed NFTs, on-chain order books, and real-time oracles. So it seems like it's a big win for the Renders ecosystem as well. And then this will kind of move us on to a little bit more Solana discussion. Solana surpasses Polygon in daily DEX volume amid the price rally. So last week, Polygon had a whopping 247 million in daily DEX compared to 135. This is pretty big because Solana's use on DEXs, just people just on the network using it, was tremendously down from where it was during the bull market. Not surprised there, but compared to some of the other layer ones, they had really fallen from grace. Now, Solana has become the most popular and loved altcoin by institutional investors, and the asset has recorded $74 million in institutional investment inflows year to date, being second only to Bitcoin. The cryptocurrency received 15.5 million from institutional investors last week alone. And the overall inflows represents 47% of total assets under management. Now, in addition, Solana also saw a significant assets under management increase in October, soaring 74% to 140 million. Also, the Solana prices surged, obviously, recently by 80% recently and 40% just on the month and 40% on the year, outpacing Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP. So no surprise there. Do you have any insight on Solana that you want to expand on? I'll leave it up to you if you just want to just leave it here, or if you want, if there was something that stood out you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, I mean it's just where people are building. It's a testament to Solana's architecture and scalability. They've addressed a lot of the issues when it comes to network robustness, launching FireDancer now. So it's much less likely that Solana goes offline in the future. Still quite possible when they actually do the FireDancer upgrade that they could run into a bump in the road. But these people that are building these products, the people behind the Render project, and they don't necessarily care if the network goes down for an hour or two in the next. These people are operating with 3, 4, 5 year timeframes, and they need to be building on the chain that is going to have the best chance at scaling on a 3, 4, 5+ year time frame. And right now, that's just unequivocally Solana. There's certain things that with a ERC20 token on Ethereum, you can't do the things that you can do on Solana with a 0.001 cent transaction fee consistently in fast transaction times, versus every time you want to send a token or do a transaction on Ethereum, it's, $3, $4, $5, all the way up to, at certain high congestion times, $20 to $25. And even the layer twos that have been being built on Ethereum are just not scaling at the level that Solana is on its layer one. And then you get into fractured liquidity issues. Just it's a testament to what Solana is building, and the scalability of their network, and the outlook that the general developer and institutional population has on the Solana network.
I'm just really bullish on the fact that institution hasn't given up, because there was such this narrative that it was venture capital backed and institutions loved Solana, and look at the partnerships they have. Wasn't there was a big retail push, but the narrative that drove some of the interest in Solana was the fact that American-based companies were really bullish on it. It is based out of California, I believe, or at least founded there. And I think the road for Solana is looking really beneficial. And I don't know. I think I might look for exposure to Solana. I think that the price is due to pull back a little bit, so perhaps I'll wait it out just a little bit. But I wouldn't be mad at anyone for DCAing into Solana for the first time now. I think that where the price is now compared to where it will be in the next bull market, I think it's a solid play. I want to discuss kind of a comical topic here. Anyways, we'll just get right into it. So we got Dylan LeClaire. He posts here. The Federal Reserve threatens to sue Bitcoin Magazine for their Fed Now merchandise. So they're having a copyright and branding lawsuit. And so Bitcoin Magazine has used what looks like the Fed Now token on some of their merchandise, almost like a troll, and they're getting sued for that. Now, Bitcoin Magazine publicly politicizes the cease and desist notice and includes a direct link to said merchandise here. Anyways, this is the paper here, and then you also have the original tweet coming out from Bitcoin Magazine. Federal Reserve threatens to sue Bitcoin, an attempt to silence criticism over its Fed Now service. And well, what do you know? Fed's payment system ACH is down. This is not the Fed Now one, but I think it's kind of coincidental that Fed's payment system ACH is down. Bitcoin is not. Where are you at, Fed Now? All right. So I want to move on to I got some bullish news here for XRP. So my XRP homies, I don't know, is it XRP Army? Is it XRP
XRP Army is more of.
I think it's XRP Army.
Yeah. XRP family,
where you
XRP
guys?
Army.
If you're bullish on XRP, you're a fan of XRP, put a 1 in the chat. If you don't care about that crap, put a 2 in the chat. I'm a fan of XRP, so I'm a 1 all day. And you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and put a 1 in the chat now. Just to get the vibe going. Also, if you're new here, say hello, so we can drop a whole lot back at you as well. All right, so Dubai Financial Services Authority, the DFSA, approves Ripple or XRP for Dubai International Financial Center use. Now, the DFSA has approved XRP, and this is becoming the first virtual asset approved by the regime since they have expanded external applications. Now, the licensed virtual asset firms within the DIFC will now be able to include XRP in their virtual asset services. Now, keyword services here. So now, not just something you buy and hold or something that's available on exchanges, but you're able to use the infrastructure that is the RippleNet. Now, XRP joins BTC, ETH, LTC as assets previously approved under the DFSA's virtual assets regime. The approval of XRP is expected to provide legal and regulatory clarity. Funny. There's legal and regulatory clarity to the to institutions. Now, This is to make global exchange of value more efficient. I think we all kind of know the thesis behind XRP. Won't elaborate there, but Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse praised Dubai's efforts in encouraging innovation and the supportive adoption of digital assets such as XRP. He stated that Ripple will continue to increase the presence in Dubai and work closely with regulators to realize the full potential of cryptocurrencies. And then that's going to be it for that one there. Um, any knee-jerk reaction here on XRP? We've seen that. I was going to say that we've seen that the Middle East, particularly, has grown an interest to break away from the dollar. We've seen the BRICS, and what does this mean for you?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem bearish. I'll say that. I'm not familiar with the Dubai Financial Service Association or whatever. I'm not sure what, this ends up, how big of a deal this ends up being, if it'll increase adoption, if it won't increase adoption, what it exactly means. But, it's hard to look at this and say that's bearish. It's probably, it sounds like they're making moves, and it's a positive step forward for Ripple and XRP.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just looking at the countries there in the Middle East, and and also in Asia, and I feel like they're trying to expand the. Not, I don't want to say get off the dollar. I think that is over weaponized. That idea that everyone hates the dollar and they want to get off it. Perhaps there is some of that sentiment, but I do think that these cryptocurrencies, you can put XRP, Ethereum, Bitcoin, the Lightning Network, whatever you want to. Would you insert crypto here? They provide more efficient movement of value in a decentralized manner because you can look at the dollar and the ACH system, all of the different organizations, the financial systems that we have abroad, and they're pretty controlling, manipulative, and garner inclusion only to a handful of people, and you have to play by the rules. And so when you incorporate the cryptocurrencies, well, things are faster, cheaper, and well, they're not manipulated in the same way that fiat system is. And so I think that this is just a growing narrative that is all the more common nowadays, and seeing entire nations adopting crypto, or at least branches of their financial infrastructure using crypto, or at least being allowed to, gives them another out to getting out of the fiat system that we have now. Now, I want to move on to Cardano. Big, a lot of Cardano fans out here. So we have Cardano Summit 2023 takes stage. So we had day one yesterday. And so you have Cardano ecosystem. Anyways, this summit, here it is. You have, this is at Dubai as well, it looks like. So we didn't start the fire, says Charles Hoskinson here in his X post. Cardano is on fire, happening now. Desert Experience at Cardano Summit 2023. Cardano CF Dubai at Cardano. And so you see that looks like a fun party to go to. And we do have some pretty bullish. You can't talk about Cardano without somebody flipping the table over and talking about some price targets that, well, I don't want to say are impossible, but quite bullish, given that a lot of things were to go to right. I'm pretty bullish on Cardano. Previous all-time high was $3. It's sitting around 30 cents right now. But we have some analysts out here. Popular cryptocurrency influencer has recently suggested the price of the smart contract platform Cardano could soon surge to $30, which is about a 10,000% gain here. This is coming from Lucid. ADA is going to $30. He provides a little insight on why he says that. $1 trillion market cap is attainable. Ethereum hit 500 billion. Bitcoin hit or you have a $1 trillion market cap in the past. So he's basically putting this bullish case scenario on a $10 trillion market cap for the crypto ecosystem. which I think we will get there, just a matter of time when. And he's saying that due to inflation, this is more due to inflation. This is really what would drive that market cap to get where it is. Can't really argue with that. $30 though, I think it might be a little stretch there. At least to say this is likely to happen sometime soon. What do you think? Or do you think $30 is attainable for Cardano?
Yeah, I'm longing Cardano right now. Hold on, I gotta buy more. No, yeah, $30. I mean, like on what time frame? No. I like run this through the filter of like, would you tell your best friend or your mom or your dad that Cardano is going to $30 and tell them to put their money in it because it's going to $30? I couldn't do that with a good conscience. Look, I'm bullish on crypto. I'm bullish on a lot of things, or a lot of different chains. Bullish on Solana. Cardano's got a lot of good merits, and it's a project that's been around for a long time, and I think it could be around for a lot longer. But $30 is starting to get, just financially, it's just that the math starts to break down a little bit. I can't reasonably say $30 is even reasonably likely. Like as an absolute long shot target of crazy, something insane happens and Cardano takes over the world, maybe. But no, that's very, very unlikely in my opinion.
All right. I'm in the same camp as you, and I think that people were looking at 2020's bull market, or the 2021 to 2022 bull market. I think they were looking at that as, hey, that's going to replicate next halving, next bull market cycle, and I think there is a likelihood that could happen, but I don't think that we are guaranteed those moves. What happened in 2021 with the injection of printing, the stimulus checks, the PPE loans, the amount of money that was written off from institutions by the government, basically just handing out money to all the big companies. That money ended up in crypto. It funneled in there, and it wasn't just crypto. It was all of speculative assets, tech stocks particularly. When we saw Tesla reaching crazy valuations, we had let's not forget about what happened with GameStop. And so, if the traditional markets or overall finance is still in a lull come post halving, and when we go into the ETF, I don't think it's a guarantee that we get these 100x moves in altcoins. So I would just proceed with caution. Now, you can also make a counter argument to say, hey, the ETF is coming. You're going to get money from institutions. Traditional finance that has never been there. And the retail, well, they're just the peanuts here, right? And the stock market has traditionally moved, and stock market has traditionally had this biggest gains from when institutions were, and traditional finance and investors were getting into projects. And so I can see both sides of the coin there, but I would just proceed with caution, thinking that all your altcoins, even the popular layer ones, going into the next bull market, whether it's Cardano, whether it's XRP or Solana, maybe it doesn't have quite a performance that it did in the last 2021 because the times are different. And I don't think that we're going to see the same printing that we did then, barring some kind of crazy global situation. All right. I do want to give one last shout out to some of the people in the chat. We got Dynamike, RB, Sugar Shane, McGreg, and Kellis Salgado. To all of you. Hola! Welcome to Sin City Crypto. Now, we are going to give one more shout out to our channel sponsor. We got Cam's Blue Wire Tech. So once again, if you're looking for networking and IT solutions for a business, check out bluewiretech.com. They're going to help you out, help you set stuff up and fix stuff when it breaks. Now, what you doing this weekend there, Forrest? The show's coming to an end.
This not a ton. Helping my wife out. She's doing a little like a flower pop-up thing. She does flowers on the side. But other than that, just chilling. Just chilling. I think I got the weekend
I got to clean up some Halloween decorations. I built a haunted house in front of my, and got like this courtyard
nice.
thing. Anyways, man, it's time to pull stuff down. So, but it was a pleasure having you, guys. If you haven't, if you're not familiar with Forrest, I'm sure everybody here is. But Sistine Research, link in the description. Go check him out. He has very insightful research that he's publishing on a routine basis. And also make sure you go follow Forrest on Twitter as well. Now, without further ado, I think we're gonna wrap this thing up. Get on to the weekend, and thanks everybody for joining us. We'll be back Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern time, 11 Pacific. And so till next week, Big Rob signing off.
Ciao a tutti.
See you guys.
Sin City Crypto. Cash is Cuvée. Yeah. Sin City Crypto. Everybody know we here for entertainment and info. Gonna show you how to get that big dough. So every day stay tapped in for big facts, no capping. With Bitcoin, if you're in, then you win. We divide the pie with no fraction. It's Big Rob, David. I split the game, but they gave it. Name according your favorite. I got dry powder, why save it? To the OGs, new beginners. Special shout out to the well members. Buy a dip, sell winners. Ain't really nothing you can tell sinners. Tune in for the latest new flavors. They gonna teach us mean coins. They polarizing like barbecue chicken pizzas. I laugh with a major grin. Laggers, we trade them in. Baddies, they came to sin. And sinners gon' play to win. Screaming hola till my bags are flowing over. Hold ya to the moon and to the solar. Won't I? Don't